Again, we're about within a minute or so of them. Like Ferrari hasn't pulled; they've got like a barrier, uh, a bouncer line for the for media to stay behind. They haven't pulled that out of the way yet. Why is Oscar 20th, Leclerc 8th? I have no clue why. It's just where the data is right now. I mean, that's the data. If I'm looking at the F1 chart right now, it's the same order there. Just I don't know why. Oh no, the t-shirt's already designed. It's the Racing Team's logo. I bought a nice royal purple t-shirt with the logo on it. What does quali start? I don't know what time CET, but it'll be like 3.5 hours from now. FP3, it's just started. Yeah, guys, the Streamlab bot is kind of picky about what it considers foreign language, so be careful. And we do have kids in this chat, by the way. So we're getting the first. I can barely see the chart. I know Norris and Stroll are out on track. I don't know who the third driver. Oscar is the next one to come out on track. So we're getting action on track already. Ronald Roy has a crazy prediction Alpine to get a podium this race. That would be crazy. That would be a lot have to go their way to get a podium. But kind of how Alcon got his win. A lot of things had to go his way to get in the lead, and then Fernando had to basically hold off Hamilton for like a ton of laps, like five. I think it was 5 to 10. I forget how many exact, but it was a long stint between a battle between Alonso and Hamilton to hold him off, and by doing that, it held Hamilton back enough for Ocon to stay in the lead and to take the win. And we're still waiting for these are still the first laps out. Wind right now is from the southeast, 1.8 meters per second, not miles, meters. Track temperature is 44 degrees. Air temperature is 23 degrees. These are in Celsius. This track temperature is over 100. Humidity again jumped up. It is 43 degrees. That is unexpected. I will occasionally call Verstappen by his first name, Max, or Perez by Checo. And of course, they have red flares in the crowd. Oh boy, that has started already. Yeah, miles per second. That would be serious wind. That would be hurricane to tornado level forces. I don't know if they're using used tires. They might be using used tires right now. Again, we're really early into the session. They just got out on track. I mean, we haven't not actually set any times yet. Leclerc is basically setting out on his first flying lap. We had Norris and Oscar basically just they went out, did a lap, came back in. We call that installation lap. Basically, they went out, made sure that everything was okay with the engine at a basic level, and then came right back in the pit so they can do more. I don't have control over the map. That is something that Racing Statistics controls. But since I brought it up, he will probably look at that. You've got Perez and Verstappen doing a 117 each. A tenth difference between the two in that first flying lap. Charles is going to come in P3. So Perez is the fastest first sector, Max is the fastest second sector, and then Charles has the fastest third sector. Stroll did an installation lap, went around one more time, and came into the pits. So it would be Alonso, maybe stays out a little bit longer if everything's okay. No, he's pitting. So basically, the Aston Martins and the McLarens basically did installation laps. So basically, what that means, again, like I said, they went around the once or twice on track, and then came right back into pits. And this is just a shakedown of the engine, make sure everything's okay. Is there a tornado? Not around me right now, Luca. There were this earlier this week north of me in other states. I'm at the front door of Tornado Alley, unfortunately, where I live. I'm in the state of Texas. For those who don't know, tornadoes are primarily an American thing. They do exist. They can occur elsewhere, but majority of the tornadoes that happen on this good earth happen in the United States, and that's just the how the United States is in terms of the mountain range, the Rocky Mountains, where they sit versus airflow and whatnot. So we got Perez on top of the board right now with 6 minutes into the session already. Max is second with Clerk three. Those are the only times actually set right now. I think Science hasn't really set a time yet. Those are the only three times that have been set so far. So we've got, well, again, another 53 minutes to go in this session. A lot of time to go. Oscar just not getting in the top five and descending into the shadow realm. Looking at what you guys are talking about in chat right now. Science just said his first time 117.444. That is a tenth and a half difference between Science and Perez. So we've got a Red Bull sandwich with Ferrari being the bread at the moment. And Science took fastest second sector and third sector in that fastest lap. Again, Science has no he's not signed to any seat for next year as of yet. And that is slow going, as he said earlier in his. He was a part of the press, the PR media session this week, and he said that was slow. Him having a seat for next year is slow going. We know that Audi has a potential deal for him proposed. We've heard that Red Bull might be interested. We've heard Mercedes could be interested. Leclerc just took the fastest. He just did a 116.281. That's almost 0.8 faster than Science. That's significantly faster. Both Leclerc and Sainz did their laps on soft tires. Max and Perez have done theirs on medium tires, and they've been out already. They've done 4 laps, almost 5 laps on those tires already. So they're probably doing something looking at the degradation on the medium tires. If they continue to stay out on those tires, that's what's going on. They're checking the viability of those tires most likely in a race scenario. So quali, basically, you don't have to ask again. Quali will be at the end of the session. Quali will be 2.5 hours after the end of the session. So almost 3.5 hours. For those of you who are race fans or motor race fans, today's actually a very active day. After quali today, you'll be about within an hour or so of the Indianapolis 500 quali session today. Now that's going to run about 6 hours long, based how it's a very weird format. Um, but essentially, they're going to set the grid from 13 to 30 today in this session, and then tomorrow they will settle the grid for the top 12, and then there will also be the last chance session. So we know 4 people will be in that session. Indianapolis is traditionally only 33 drivers. We have 34 cars trying to qualify to get into the race. We will have one driver bumped from the race. And so that's high drama. So that's going to happen tomorrow. We got a few more on the board. Alpine has got their times on the board. Gasoline Ocon did 118.1, and then Ocon did a 118.89. Clerk has come to the pits. We're looking at Max going off a curve. No, that's Checo going off curves. You have Stroll on track right now. He's in his first flying lap right now, but he is on hards. So yeah, for those who are curious at the moment, the map that we're using right now is temporary. It looks like there's an issue with the other map we normally use. So we basically just oh, there we go. Here's the other map. And it basically just froze the moment we showed you it. So at least having this map here is better than not having a map at all. Is basically what's going on. We got 48 minutes left in the session. You are listening to the Race Statistics YouTube channel. This is Grash giving you commentary as action happens on track. It is a slow going for FP3. We've only got 7 cars who have so 10 cars have been on track at some point, but only 7 have set a time. The latest right now, Stroll has gone to a P5 117.828. We have we don't have Haas out there. We don't have the Racing Bulls. We don't have Mercedes out there. We don't have Stake out there. Uh, we don't have the Williams out on track. So half of the grid hasn't even been out on track, and only 7 of those 10 cars has set a time. So why isn't everyone racing? Because it's FP3, and this is not the times here are not necessarily representative of what you'll see in the race or in quali. And teams set out portions of FP3 for reasons. This is not uncommon to see in FP3, fortunately. I've seen FP3s where no one goes out for like half an hour. They are prepping Albon right now. They are prepping no, they were prepping Hamilton. Just took wheels off his car. Okay. Bottas has just entered the track. Yeah, Max has done 7. He's done 7 laps, but it looks like he's gone into the pits and like Perez. He's just put onto a new set of tires. I don't know if Perez is coming back out. Ding. This is no. It's just he's just done 7 laps or 8 laps now. Um, Again, the order by this session in pre-practice is basically by time, but it's a free practice. There are things that teams could be doing besides doing a quality, fast as possible quality type run. There are other stratagems, other data that they're looking at. Yesterday we had Lando went out with flow paint. Basically, they put paint on the car, and they send the car out, and they see how the paint streaks. And by doing that, they can see they can see there's aerodynamic information they can glean from that. It is not raining, Stefanos. It is sunny with air temperature 23 degrees, track temperature 43 degrees. It is much more humid than it was yesterday. About 23 degrees, 23% humidity is now 43% humidity. And the last I saw was a wind direction from the southeast about 1.7 meters per second. It has shifted a little bit. Now I have a reading from south to 2 meters per second. So it's interesting. Charles is cooking. He's got first and second sectors, so that's going to be stolen from. So Charles is going to update his time to 116.087. Science just did a first sector. He's about to finish the second sector on this track. Hamilton hasn't gone on track really at all. He hasn't set a time, so I wouldn't worry about. So from P9 down, no one has set a time in those categories in those positions right now. So there's nothing to tell you about them. Science improves in his second sector. He's got a set at the very end. He's going to jump to P1. He did 160.067. We're looking 0.02 difference between not tenth. We're talking about 200ths of a second difference between the Ferrari boys right now. Again, they are on soft tires, so that is up to be of note. Science 4 laps on that tire. His clerk did 3 laps on his soft. Both of the Red Bulls are in the pits right now. Bottas is on track, Stroll's on track, Alonso's on track. And that Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Hamilton, and Zhou have entered the track, but they have not set any lap time as of yet. Luca pointing out smooth operator for Science, and it looks like. And Rudy Gudigan pointing out it's not a race. Of course, it's not. It's not. It is just basically it's pre-practice. So the cars could be on, may not be going as fast as possible because they're on a particular plan, a race simulation. With the McLarens, they came out for an installation lap and came back in, and that's all I can tell you right now. They're in the pits right now. That's where the McLarens are. I can tell you the same thing with Sargent, Ricardo, Sonoda, and Albin. Though they just showed on the F1 stream one of them getting into their suits properly, getting prepared to get in the car. So they're not even the Perez has just entered the track. Bottas has just is done in the pits. I've seen after practice, I'm gonna try to line up on the grid and do one lap and go back to think of it, why so. Oh, what happens at the end of the practice is that they are allowed to do a practice start. So after they take the essentially take the flag, uh, take the cross finish line, take the finish flag after time ends, they're allowed to go around the track one more time. And when they get to the start finish line, they line up to do starts. Yeah, practice starts essentially. And that's what's going on. And then they go back around and come back to the pits. By the time they are doing practice starts, is about when we're pretty much coming off stream for commentary. Or it would be nice to have a close competition this year, as long as Max wins. Stroll's actually not that bad of a driver. He's not a consistent driver. Is the problem. But he does have points, and he is better. He is better than other. There are days where Stroll will outperform his teammate, but those are fewer than you should expect from him. Yeah. To isolate Stroll from the other 20 is actually not fair. Problem is that with Stroll is that you if because he's in the way that the things are set up with Aston Martin, um, like Stroll probably wouldn't be in his seat otherwise. He'd probably be replaced. And what's probably the issue is that they've got Drogovic as the reserve driver. Again, he's an F2 champion. He was the F2 champion not last year, but the year before. So basically, Stroll is blocking Drogovic getting into a seat and getting into getting progression in F1. Looking right now, we've got Magnussen has set a time. Ricardo, Hulkenberg, Hamilton has set a time. Zoe set a time. Alonso set a time. So we're now down to around P16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, though Sonoda, Albin, and Sargent are on track, and then Sonoda is on track. Science has just come into the pits after doing 7 laps on the soft tires. We've got 36 minutes left in this session. Again, this is the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. Excuse me. It is early here this morning. This is Grash Eye. It is 5:53 a.m. It's Central Time, USA. I'm in the big state of Texas. I live in Texas. I'm not from Texas, though. We can talk about that another time. Again, in about 2 hours from no, not 2 hours. 3 hours from now, we'll have the start of the quali. Again, if you're a race fan and you're interested in Indianapolis qualifying session will start about, I want to say 90 minutes after 90 to an hour after F1's Imola quali session ends. We have a yellow flag. Oh, we have a red flag. Why do we have a red flag? Who have I brought the red flag upon? So something can happen in sector 3. Oh, it's Alonso. So Alonso has backed in. He has stopped. Backed. He's crashed. He's backed into the Qatar barriers. He's gone across gravel into the barriers. He is saying he's okay on the radio. So what happened? All right. So I'm taking a look at Alonso's cam. Passes one of the Williams. Goes some curbs. Still okay. The back end of the car is damaged, but it's not something that can't be repaired before. Oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, basically, let's go back and look at that one more time. Yeah, Fernando went over curbs. Yeah, I'm looking at the replay of his camera. Fernando went over the curbs, and it just just bounced him up just enough that he loses his car and spins around. Yeah. So they've already pulled the car. No, no, it's still back there. So Alonso's out of the car. He's okay. So again, Alonso went around went over a curb. He loses control of the car. He spins around and goes backwards into the barriers. The left side of the car comes sliding in onto that, but it won't. It's there's not significant damage. It's not significant damage. It's just he is the car stopped needs to be pulled. Yeah, again last year we saw that the sausage curbs were a big issue last year, and they were addressed on most tracks last year, except we didn't race at Imola last year, so there was no reason to change the curbs. But they are definitely basically it's something that happened last year. Um, Ultimately, they are destroying the cars this weekend. Again, we are about 32 minutes left in this session right now. We are in a red flag status. Alonso lost control of his car, spun around, and went backwards into the barrier. His left side hit the wall as well, so that is something that we'll have to check as well. So Alonso did again. He did crash. He did hit the wall. but it's not significant. Again, significant damage. They should be able to repair his car in time for quality. What happened to Leclerc? Leclerc is second on the grid, dude. Pay attention. Sainz is his teammate. Went 200s faster than him. And they've got Fernando's car on a crane. And they're pulling it slowly. They're moving slowly with that crane, which is crazy. Showing replay of Sargent going wide on that. Kicking up a dust cloud. This is just before the incident took place, just before they enter into the pits. So Enzo and Danilo Ferrari circuit demanding his blood price as always. Ooh, I wouldn't put it that way. Track is clear. You should be getting a moment that they are back to green flag. It's a moment. It's any moment now that they're told that they will be able to go back on track. Wind has picked up a little bit more. It's 2.4 meters per second from the southeast. We've been seeing it from the east to southeast. So session resume at 13:01. That is about now. Why is there a red flag? Alonso basically hit a curb, spun, and went backwards into one of the barriers. They pull his car off the track. We're about to go back to green flag. And they are coming out of their garages now. Will Alonso take Stroll's car? No. Aston Martin won't do that. Aston Martin has parts. Is Imola more narrow compared to other circuits? It's not that Imola is more narrow. It's that the Imola has, I think, 19 turns, which is a good number. They have just gone green flag. And then I believe no, that's an Alpine that's out front. So, yeah, no, they've just gone green flag. Which Alpine is out? Can't tell. One of the racing RB V carbs. So they're getting back on track right now. So it'll be about 2 minutes before we start seeing times starting flying laps, and another minute after that or so before um, another minute or so before we get actual times. So it's Ocon, Ricardo, Albon, Russell out to the pit so far. Verstappen's out on the out coming out. Will they repair Alonso car in time? They should, unless something critical was damaged. They will have time to fix this car in time. We have 26 minutes to go in this session right now. We've got cars right now in pit lane lined up to get out onto track. So it's going to take a few, not like again, another minute or so. wishing F1 cars were smaller, like in early 2010s. Those cars are nice. That's one of the things that they're trying to do with the cars. They're trying, for safety reasons and for other purposes, the cars got bigger over time. Ultimately, they're trying to shrink the size of the car back down, and that's a iteration after iteration with um, different formula regulations changes. Yeah, in practice, the time does not stop when there's a red flag. Now, when we are dealing with the quality sessions, the clock does stop. We don't get a clock during the race unless we get to a point where the race basically becomes not a lapped race but a time race, because they do have a 2 hour time limit for those races. Did Alonso crash because he's a bridge? Come on, guys. That's not what happened. John Palmer is not happy with the slow pace of people getting on track. Ricardo just did a P6 on a medium tire. That would be a 117.061. Looking at right now, Oscar just did a P3 lap, fastest sector 3 with 116.257. He's ahead of Max right now. And Oscar did that on a soft tire. Ricardo's lap was on a medium tire. Russell's lap was on a soft tire. Magnussen just went P10. He's just pitted. He did his lap on a medium tire. Norris jumps to P5. Norris is on a medium tire as well. I'm not sure where you're going with your point slithering, because like Max, like you're saying this year's is not Max's year. Like, dude, he's leading the drivers' championship by a considerable margin over Checo, who's P2. So I'm not really sure where you're going at the moment. And like Max didn't win last that and in Miami, but he was P2. So I'm not really sure where you're going with your point at the moment. Like, oh no, Max didn't win. The sky is falling. Oh no, the Max had an engine issue. The sky is falling. Like, really? Capello's puts a point like if Haas buys everything Ferrari, one of the latest parts of the Ferrari EVO. So Haas can't buy everything from Ferrari. He buys a lot of parts, just like McLaren buys a lot of parts from Mercedes. And they're doing better with Mercedes. There are things that they have to produce themselves, parts of the car that they have to create themselves. They can't buy from Ferrari. So again, it's the same issue with the Racing Bulls V-Carb ABCDEFG team. They are using as many parts as they possibly can from the Red Bull, the RB19, that they're allowed to use. But there are things that they have to produce themselves, unfortunately. That was one of the things about beginning of the year that was potentially an issue, and that story has died down because it had that team been more competitive, we would be talking a lot more about the fact they were using the Red Bull 19. But since they are not having that competitive, that has kind of there's no gas in that story anymore. Hamilton is on hards. Hey, yeah. Yeah, Hamilton's actually on softs. The F1 timing board shows softs. So why is the table not updated yet? It will be possible to. It takes a while to get for times to be updated on that board. Bro, is it possible to move the comments? Yeah, you can close the chat. That's very possible. I mean, like go to theater mode and remove chat. I've done that in other videos, other streams. Yeah, Alonso is being checked. That is standard procedure, though, Lou. That Alonso would be checked by medical. Um, when you have a collision, a crash with enough force, there's an automatic checking of you by medical. Oscar just took fastest first sector. He did 23.899. That is almost seven tenths faster than Science in that sector. He proves in his time in sector 2. He is improving in his times in sector 3. He loses time in sector 3. So he stays in P3. Science is coming out on track. Leclerc is pitting. Verstappen is pitting. Perez is pitted. Trying to think what is looking at who's on track doing what at the moment. I don't think Alonso was hurt. Again, just again, one of the procedures is that when you have an incident where there's a collision, crash, whatnot, if there's when the crash has a certain number, there's a G-force associated with that crash, and when you meet that, there's a point where when you hit hard enough, there's an automatic checking of the driver by medical. Again, Alonso said he was okay right away right after the incident happened. So this is more a formality for state. It's a safety check. It's a formality than it is. Then he's probably okay, but they're checking him just to make sure. This is one of those make sure he doesn't have a concussion. That's one of the big things that we're looking at right now. I mean, Marcus Ericsson had 2 days ago had a much bigger crash. Actually, had 3 collisions. Hit one wall, hit another wall, hit the pit lane entrance, and he was checked by medical and he was out within pretty quick. Oh, Hamilton getting air, basically where everyone's getting air. Those curbs are launching these cars in the air. Crazy. I'm surprised that they didn't make a change to those curbs overnight. Do you think Lando feels some pressure from Oscar? No. He just won. He doesn't. He won the Grand Prix. Oscar has not won a Grand Prix. He won a sprint race. That did put some pressure on Lando. But ultimately, because Lando won the Grand Prix last time out, he's not under the same pressure anymore. He's a Grand Prix winner, and that puts him in a different category. it moves it validates him in terms of his talent. What if Oscar wins very soon this week? We'll see what happens. I mean, part of why Lando won last in Miami was there were a lot of things that went into his favor. Is Red Bull washed? No, Red Bull's not washed. This is just not their track. It looks like this is like Singapore from last year. It wasn't their weekend. Albon's just up to a P60. He just did a 116.470 lap time. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that's also happening this weekend as well is that Ferrari basically brought a almost a brand new car, everything but the chassis, the core chassis. There's like changes to how the vents coming out of the Ferrari have changed. Looking at what you guys are saying in chat at the moment. Yeah, if you guys want to take a better look at how the cars have changed from Miami to Imola, we actually have a video in our media section about this. I posted it, I think, 2 days ago. Mm. I was asking, what do you think of Ricardo? Ricardo right now, I think we're seeing the end of Ricardo in F1 most likely, and it is not reading too good. Please don't say that in chat. It is not raining, everyone. It is a sunny day outside. Humidity is 41%. 1,009 millibars. The wind is now from the north from 1.4 meters per second. So that's a big shift. Sargent just jumped to P9 with a 116.794. Anyone on track right now is Bottas and Joe. They've just started their laps. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible we could see Ricardo come to the United States for IndyCar. He would do really well in IndyCar. IndyCar would love him. After that, if because just of his personality, he would probably do well in NASCAR. He'd have fun in NASCAR. It'd take him a while. Um, there's a couple of drivers that would bump him and bump him on purpose. So it'd be that's an element of IndyCar he would have to figure out. Whereas IndyCar is the open wheel racing here in the United States. So yeah, and I CL16, he's not going to replace Ricardo. Ricardo's not performing to the level where it makes sense to replace Perez with him. That's the ultimate where it stands. For, you know, and they've got a reserve driver that they've promised either they'll give him a seat in the Racing Bulls, or he's free to go to the other teams. Thank you, it's Lawson. Yeah. So the thing with Yuki is that I don't know where does Yuki when 2026 comes around. Where does Yuki sit? He is a Ferrari back driver. And Luvic, basically, you basically have you didn't put a space after a period, and that's what the bot thinks you're posting links. Again, we've got three drivers on track. We've got Sergeant Stroll, and Alonso. We've got 10 minutes left in this session right now. Crying out loud, you've been saying that for like over and over and over. Please stop repeating yourself, guys. That is spamming chat. Yeah, so the question with Yuki is that, I mean, does he go to Aston? If he goes to Aston, where does Stroll leave? People are starting to. Bottas and Russell have just out. Ocon's out. I'm not sure why people are not. Give them a few more minutes before they start coming out. I mean, they could put Stroll in reserve driver, but Stroll. I mean, it makes sense for Stroll. He may want to leave F1 after when the 2026 regulations come in. So we got several drivers now coming out of the pits. Oscar's coming out. Ricardo's coming out. Magnussen's coming out. Hulkenberg's coming out. We'll see more of them as time ticks down. And this is common with at the end of these sessions. You'll see these drivers that now starting to come out. You'll see them come out like 2 minutes, 3 minutes left to go around so they can do a practice start. I don't think Ricardo would go to Arrow because Arrow is part of the McLaren family, and McLaren didn't do him justice. They did him a bit dirty, and they are lined up at the pit entrance. Why is this? So we've got a line of cars at the pit entrance, unfortunately. Andretti would take Ricardo. I mean, like, there's so many other teams in IndyCar. Like there are multiple teams that would take him and would happily take him. I mean, like let's put it bluntly. Like Grosjean is in IndyCar. Ricardo is leaps and bounds ahead in terms of driving talent in terms of Grosjean. So it wouldn't be a hard time for him to jump to one of the IndyCar teams if this was the last dance here in F1. Everyone's coming out on soft tires. I say that I'm not sure about where Gasly's. No, Gasly's on a soft tire. Yeah. So you're going to see soft tires from now to the end of the session. We've got 7 minutes to go in this session. Now mentioning it, you are listening to the Racing YouTube channel. We've got about 500, 255 you watching right now. We've got 567 likes. Again, this is Grash doing live action with you, taking your questions in chat, discussing things going on with F1. Otherwise, crying out loud. You guys are trolling chat. Come back after quali, after the session. I don't have a favorite driver. There are drivers that I have affinities towards. It's more affinities than favorites. Same with teams. There are teams that I have affinity towards, but no one team is my favorite. No one driver is my favorite. And I particularly since I've now started commentating, we have a yellow flag, and now we have a red flag. Oh, who is that? Perez? Oh, it's Perez. Who have I angered? Which god have I angered this time? So second red flag. Yeah, this is going to end the session. I don't think there'll be enough time. Yeah, he basically Perez just basically binned it. Take a look at the driver cam and see what happened. Curves. All right. What happened? Perez is coming, hits a curb, and yep, can't make the turn. And crashes the car into the barrier. I mean, his front wing collapsed, but that's the design of the wing is to do that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Perez got air. They just showed a slow motion of the replay. He got air, and then can't make the turn because he can't control the car. And there he goes. So here we go. Second red flag of the session. Yeah, this will end the session because there's not enough time to get his car off, clean up the track, and then have people go around. And Perez did hit the Tech Pro barriers, but the barriers didn't move. So again, we are getting our second red flag in this session because Checo basically got air over one of the curbs and then couldn't control the car to make the turn and went straight into the Tech Pro barrier. His front wing has collapsed, which is what is intended. They'll have to check if there's anything else. There might be floor damage. Again, Checo Perez has basically crashed into a Tech Pro barrier. Yeah, they're going to call this. Checo looks like he's okay. Yeah, they're moving as fast as they can to get the car off the track, but like there's like 2 minutes left. So Checo is out of the car. Yeah, Checo got out. Checo was able to get out of his car under his own power. He looks okay. He'll probably get medically checked because the force of the collision will probably trigger an automatic medical check. But that's again like Alonso. That is there to verify whether the driver is okay or not. And so we are into our red again. cars are just coming back into the pits at this point. But they still haven't gotten Checo's car off the track. By the time will run out before the time they get the crane off the track. Oh, they going green light? What are they doing? The Ferraris are racing with one of the Aston Martins. What did Ferrari just do with an Aston Martin? It was both Ferraris. It's weird. We've got 40 seconds to go in this session. So they've gone into green flag for those who are on track. Um, Oscar just went P1, 115 with a 529. Oh, what is oh 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 Ferrari is really pushing it. The Alpine are not giving anything. Alpine in this I'm not sure why Alpine is doing. Alpine is not giving any room to Ferrari, and they're trying to get around them on these flying laps. I don't know what. It's not just Leclerc. It's also Science. Um, yeah, all of them are like going full out at race level at this moment. So Russell and Max have taken the checkered flag. But basically, as they come around, Norris has just gone to a P2. So Norris is going to go P2 with a fastest third sector. Unexpected racing on track between the Ferrari and everyone else. Just out of yeah, everyone's taking the checkered flag at this point. Weird out of nowhere. I did not expect that they would let them go back to green flag as the way they did. That's going to be a question of with the stewards. We've had some interesting issues with the stewards this year. They're doing a replay of Oscar trying to get around one of the Alpines, and then one of the Ferraris weaving in or out between these guys. Yeah, there's going to be comment that I mean, it looks like they're racing straight up. And this came out of nowhere. I expected them that the red flag would have uh, brought them all into the pit, and instead they let them stay out. So this is a question of the stewards. Magnussen passing by the V carbs. One of them taking reaction. He's half off track. He's still on track, but just half off. Yeah, this is crazy. This last few minutes. Um, don't know what the stewards. Again, part of what's the issue here is that the stewards allow this to happen. They went from red flag right to green flag. Normally they would have brought them all into the pits. I don't know why I don't know why. Again, I guess they get the Checo's car off track, and they're like, "Hey, if it's still on track, keep going." So there is a question of the stewards here these last 2 minutes of what last 90 seconds, I should say, 90 seconds, not 90 minutes. I'm aghast at what just happened. Um, so drivers are now taking their practice starts right now, so that is what's going on. I want to thank everyone who's come. We had a good number of you. There's like 3,813 right now watching. We got 638 likes. If you haven't had a chance now, so go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notifications. The other way to get notifications of when we're live is basically join the Discord. An event will be posted so if you can't find the link to a session, look into our Discord. Again, we've got more discussion going on there, so there is benefits for being part of it. So our top three is Oscar, Lando, and Carlos. Charles takes 4, Russell is 5th, Max is 6th, Albon is 7th, Arcon is 8th, Stroll is 9th, Hulkman is 10th. Perez is 12th, Carlos 11th, Perez is 12th, though he crashed, bringing out a red flag. Alonso also red flag as well this session. As far as I know right now, I am not doing the qualification session for Imola. That should be Ryan. I know he's doing the race himself. So this is me signing off for the weekend. Also, again, of note, basically, if you're a race fan, after there will be a IndyCar practice session shortly, in about an hour or so. After quali for Imola, there'll be the start of the Indianapolis 500 qualification sessions. That is a 6-hour long session where that's basically how the format goes. They're going to need that time. They'll set the 13 through 30s drivers in that session. Then with 12 drivers going in the Fast 12, and then 4 drivers will go into the last chance qualification. Tomorrow, basically, we'll do our Fast 12, and then we'll do the last chance session. And so basically, Indianapolis has 33 drivers by tradition. We have 34 cars trying to get into the race. One of them will not qualify; they will be bumped from the race. That's high drama stakes, and that is incredible to watch. Last year, it was heartbreaking when Rahal was bumped from the race. So, and then finally they'll set the poll after that. So there's a lot going on. Cup Series, Xfinity Series also going on as well. F2, F3 is racing. The Porsche Cup Series is racing Imola as well. So there's a lot going on this weekend for motor racing. So you'll hear bits and pieces throughout the weekend because we're all motorsports fans. All right, this is again Grash for you for the Racing YouTube channel. This has been FP3. It's been an interesting FP3. We've got a consequential FP3 for particularly 2 drivers and others. All right, I will see you. It will be for Monaco first practice when you'll see me next, unless I am pulled in for out of nowhere to do another session between now and then. But until then, have a good time, have fun. We'll see you. And take care, everyone.